Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning.
Welcome to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast with the spotlight on section hikers.
And I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast, your premier podcast with the spotlight on section hikers, and I am your host, Julie Jester Gayheart. I am almost positive after you all hear today's guest, Deb Mille, you're going to be inspired to make a plan, follow through with that plan, and complete your favorite trails that you've been wanting to hike as a section hiker. As I read to you from Deb's bio, you'll find out why I just made that statement. Deb is currently retired. She started backpacking in 1974 with a trip to South Manitou Island in Michigan. She says the trip was a disaster, but she was hooked and never looked back. Deb has backpacked almost every trail in Michigan, 1/3 of the John Muir Trail, the Wonderland Trail, the Annapurna Circuit in Nepal, the Inca Trail, and the A.S.A.P Rainbow Mountain Treks in Peru. She's hiked in the Grand Canyon, 1,600 miles of the Appalachian Trail, and a trek in Thailand. And if that's not enough, she's also hiked sections of the Florida Trail, Buckeye Trail, and many of the trails in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. In addition to all of that, she has also backpacked at Big South Fork Recreation Area and the Red River Gorge. Deb was also blessed to work at a job that allowed her to do what she loved. She worked at the University of Michigan leading backpacking and climbing trips for students for many years and as a team building facilitator in their Adventure Leadership Program. She also worked for 33 years for a local nature center as their challenge program director, overseeing a high ropes course, climbing wall, and low ropes teams course. At that facility, she wrote curriculum for their environmental education programs and developed a global village in conjunction with Heifer International. In 2009, she started hiking on the Appalachian Trail with the intent of through hiking. But a stress fracture took her off the trail in Virginia of that year, and she has been making her way in sections north ever since. Her trail name is Infinity. She was given that name by her fellow hikers when she actually started the Appalachian Trail. She was the first person to hike out every morning out of camp and carried a small Buzz Lightyear on her backpack. So one morning they all yelled out, "To infinity and beyond!" Deb gets more into that story here in a little bit. In 2019, she was diagnosed with lung cancer. Since she had never smoked, this was a shock. Her surgeon had to remove the upper right lobe of her lung, which resulted in 20% loss of lung capacity. Of course, her first question was, will she still be able to backpack? That surgery was April 4th, and in August of that year, 2019, she hiked the A.S.A.P and Rainbow Mountain Trek in Nepal, reaching over 17,000 feet. The past few years, she has continued to backpack, but her feet have become more and more painful. Finally, she went to the orthopedic specialist, and he told her her large toe joints would have to be fused in place because of the damage to her joints. Her left foot was operated on in November of 2021, and her right toe was done in February of 2022. Deb has 3 children of her own and 8 grandchildren. 3 of her grandkids have shown an interest in backpacking, and she has already taken them on several trips. Thanks for joining me for this week's episode, and now on to my chat with Deb Mille, or also known as Infinity. All right, you guys, welcome back to the podcast, and we're going to get right to it. I have with me right now, hot on the trail. I mean, I think she's taking a day off like right now and heading back out tomorrow as of this recording. So please welcome with me Deb Mille, or also known as Infinity. Hey, Deb.
Hi, good to meet you.
And very, very nice to meet you as well. And of course, we've already been laughing and cracking up. So I know this is going to be a good chat. But you know what, Deb? There's something I want to ask you because the listeners have heard your bio. And there's something that I read in the first sentence. So we got to talk about this. So you said that you're currently retired. You started backpacking in 1974 and the trip was a disaster. So I got to hear about this. Tell us about this disastrous trip that happened in 1974 and you really haven't stopped hiking since.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was going backpacking to an island in Lake Michigan. I'd never been backpacking before, made my own backpack out of this bright flowery material.
Oh my.
Of course, all it did was like a rucksack. I had a big flannel sleeping bag tied to this. So we're taking this ferry over, get off the boat, and all of a sudden, insects descended on me. Of course, I didn't have any insect repellent. Mosquitoes are chasing me down the trail. Oh, no. Now, this was before food tasted decent, too. So, okay.
Oh, boy.
The plan was to camp on a sand dune. So, of course, you rough it, right? No tent.
Oh, yeah.
I took a tarp and kind of jimmy rigged it on this bluff, beautiful view of Lake Michigan, started cooking my beautiful mountain house. It tasted like salt. Sand was blowing into it, so it was very gritty. Every taste was like sand gritting through my teeth.
Not much has changed about Mountain House then.
No. So laid the sleeping bag in the tarp, went to sleep. In the middle of the night, a storm rolls in. Thunder, lightning. I'm on this bluff in the middle of nowhere with no protection. So hastily, I gather everything together, stuff it in the rucksack, start to go back. But the route I had taken was now underwater because they don't have tides in the Great Lakes, but the storm had caused a surge and there was no trail.
Oh, wow.
So I had to hunker down on the edge of this bluff with the wind and the storm and the lightning and thunder. And morning comes around. I'm all bedraggled. I hike back to this little tiny restaurant overlooking Lake Michigan. And then I see they're tornadoes that happen on the lake. They're lake tornadoes. And I thought, oh, great. Now I'm going over on what you could call the barf barge back to the mainland.
I cannot imagine.
So I made it back to the mainland and my car was locked in the parking lot.
Oh,
So I had to find an attendant to get the car out. And that was my first experience with backpacking.
Okay, but you didn't look back after that, right? You said, I got to figure all this out, right?
Yes, that's right. So I just started researching. And of course, that was before internet. I had to do everything by book. And Colin Fletcher was one of my first go-tos. And yeah, from then on, I just kept looking at what I could do differently.
Well, listen, when I got your bio, of course, I scanned it. And then right before here we were getting ready to record, I really looked at it. And Deb, you've been through a lot. So you started backpacking in 1974. You have had an amazing career. I mean, tell everybody kind of what you did. You had a couple different careers, right?
I do. And I did because they were seasonal type positions, which really allowed flexibility in my schedule. But for many years, I ran a high ropes course, low ropes course. I created a global village that taught about world hunger. We had kids that came through that. I worked for Heifer International, which is a development organization, works overseas. And also worked for University of Michigan, did team building with them at their high ropes climbing tower. I took groups from the college on backpacking trips. So yeah, I've done a bit of everything.
Well, I'll forgive you because I didn't go to the Ohio State University, but I'm a Buckeye. So
Oh no.
I'm not that much of a, diehard where I'm in my house marking off the M's in anything that I have around the house. But
That's good.
But you also, so I was reading this and I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. Oh my God, she's had this amazing career. And then I get to 2019 and you were diagnosed with lung cancer and you never smoked.
Right. Yeah. My parents were both smokers. So it came out of nowhere. And really the only reason it was diagnosed is because I was very aware of my body and changes from hiking. And I knew something was off. Went to the doctor, did an x-ray, get this call. Oh, you've got a mass. Got to check it out. And the surgeon who removed part of my lungs said the only reason I was able to do that was because of my hiking. She said, you were in such good shape with, especially with my breathing, that they were able to take the whole lobe of the lung out and it had not spread. But she said, otherwise, if it had been much longer, they wouldn't have been able to do that. So yeah, it was a miracle.
So are you cancer free?
Yes, I have to go in every 6 months for a repeat CT scan. And as long as that looks good, I'm almost to the time when I can go every year. So I'm hoping the next CT scan is in July, then it'll be yearly, hopefully.
Excellent. Excellent. And yet here's another thing. You've lost 20% of your lung capacity?
Yes. And that was my first question to her was, am I going to be able to hike? I had a hike to Peru planned.
Oh,
and I said,
damn.
yeah. I said, okay, I've got a hike. And I had this surgery in April. My hike in Peru was August. I said, am I going to be able to hike? It was over 17,000 feet I was going to be hiking to. And she said, sure, you can hike. If you can do it, go for it. And that's what I did. So yeah, it has changed my capacity. I have to change how I hike. Can't hike as fast as I used to, but I just keep plugging.
And you're still out there. Okay,
I'm still out there.
If that wasn't enough, so I get to the last paragraph, and now you have this thing going on with your feet. You've had, wait a minute, okay. And this is recent. So in November 2021, you had your big toes fused?
Yes, I had my right toe first and then my left toe fused. And because of advanced arthritis, had just destroyed the joints. I had a lot of bone spurs in there. So the only solution for active people is to fuse the joint. So it does change how you walk. I have to think a little bit when I walk. You don't realize how much you use that joint to balance. So yeah, it's been a learning process.
Okay, so I just want to let people know there is no excuse on this earth. If you are a perfectly healthy human being or not healthy human being, you could still hike and figure a way. So, November 2021, you have your big toe joints fused. And here we are, the end of May, getting ready to be the beginning of June, and you're already hiking.
Yes. I was hiking pretty quickly after.
What does that feel like? That's got to be painful. Come on.
It is. Oh yeah. Every step I feel it. And especially in rocky areas, it's much harder because you can't bend the joint. So yeah, it's painful, but your other alternative, are you going to sit and do nothing? And I'm not a sitter. I couldn't sit before, let alone now. So yep, I get out there and it hurts and it's the way it is.
All right, people, take note. Okay, take note. It's painful, but that's just the way it is. And you've got 3 children and 8 grandchildren. Yes. So, Deb, you are a busy lady.
Oh, I am. And I've got 3 of the grandkids into backpacking. So,
Even better, even
Yep.
better. So, okay. So now that everybody's like, okay, I don't have any excuses. Tell us what you've been doing and where you are right now.
Well, this summer I'm trying to fill in sections of the Appalachian Trail. I started in 2009 with a attended through hike, but ended up getting off with a stress fracture in my foot.
Okay, Deb.
So
Okay.
I resolved that I was going to finish this trail no matter what. So every year I've gone back. This year I did a section in Pennsylvania from Danielsville on over all the rocks down into Delaware Water Gap. Then a tiny section in Connecticut where I had to go in and out. And now I still need 9 miles in Connecticut. And tomorrow start in Bennington and head right over just before Stratton Mountain. And then after that, I'm going from Wallingford to Hanover. So that's it for this year. Hopefully next year when I turn 70, I want to finish the trail.
Okay. Deb. You are 100% going to finish the trail. So next year, 2023, you are now the official class of 2023 Appalachian Trail completers. How many miles do you have left? You have left?
I will have only a little over 400 left.
Okay, so by the sounds of it, you're going to knock that out.
Right.
Totally knock that out. And the listeners don't know this, and I'm excited. You are going to be at Alda, and I think you and I are going to be able to meet at Alda this October.
That would be awesome.
Excellent. So are you planning on hiking around, because Alda is going to be up in Massachusetts somewhere. I can't remember right off the top of my head. Are you going to be hiking around that area and then go to Alda?
I am. I'm going to drive out to Connecticut, fill in that section I need, then drive on up. I love the Mount Greylock area, so I know I'm going to be hiking around, just doing some trails. I've done that whole AT section there, but yeah, I'll be doing some hiking and go to Alda then.
Perfect. So listen, we know nothing's going to stop you, and everybody heard in your bio. I mean, you've hiked all over the place. So do I dare ask what's next after 2023?
Well, actually next year before I finish, I'm going to the Amazon. I'm doing a service trip with the Detroit
I'm throwing
Zoological
my hands up in the air as she's saying this. Okay, so you're going to the Amazon.
Yeah, I'm doing a service trip with the Detroit Zoological Society. We work with the schools along the Amazon River. And then I'm going on another hike in the Andes. That's my pre-AT plans next year. Now, after that,
goodness.
I'm sure there'll be something else. I want to get back to Nepal because that's a love of my all my hikes. I love Nepal, so I want to get back there.
Now, have you gone? I'm assuming, without going back to your bio, are you talking about Everest Base Camp area or all different areas around Nepal? Tell us about that, because I'm intrigued about Nepal myself.
Well, I was a volunteer teacher there, and what I did is I fell in love with the people at that point. Went back the next year and did the Annapurna Circuit. So
Okay.
I would love to do Everest Base Camp. I'm not sure yet with my lungs if that's doable, but that's something I'd like to look into. But
What is the altitude at base camp? What is it there?
Boy, it's above 18,000. I know that.
Wow. I didn't realize base camp was.
Yeah, it's
I thought
pretty
it
high.
was. Yeah. Wow.
But I have family there from all the kids that I got to know when I was teaching there, so I always visit them. I've been back several times. But, yeah.
Okay, so you got the Amazon, you got all kinds of stuff. Okay, so you finished the Appalachian Trail sometime in 2023.
Yep.
And then what?
That's, who knows? Whatever comes. I mean, I will get out. I'd like to do sections of the Colorado Trail. I'd like to get out there and do some of that. And I've done small sections of the PCT, so I wouldn't mind. I did part of the John Muir Trail, so I'd like to get out there again. But who knows?
Who knows? Well, listen, you've already had your toes fused, so that can't happen again.
That's right.
You've got your lungs taken care of, so you're covered there. So I think you've covered all your bases, so you should be good to go.
That's right.
But before we talk about how everybody can find you on your social media, you got to tell us about how you got this trail name Infinity.
Oh, well, what happened is the first year I started the trail, 2009, the trail all my trail friends gave me the name. And the reason they gave it to me, I was always the first one out in the morning. And so I have a little Buzz Lightyear I carry in my backpack, and they'd say to infinity and beyond. And so I'd say infinity it is. They gave it to me. And that Buzz Lightyear has been with me all around the world. And the reason I carry it, when I was teaching in Nepal, my friend sent it to me, and it made it through a corrupt postal system all the way to this small village. So it was meant to be. So he's been with me everywhere. Yep.
Well, you listen to infinity and beyond. Here we go. So of all the hiking you've done, have you enjoyed something most or more than the other, or can you choose?
It would be really difficult. I love international hiking because of the culture. So that is what draws me there, the culture of the people and meeting the people. A special guide that has taken me in the Andes when I did Machu Picchu, we become very good friends, and I become friends with him. So that part of it draws me internationally. As far as in the U.S., I just love hiking. I am happy if I'm on a trail. It could be in the woods, it can be in the mountains, it could be anywhere. Because even my local, if I get out on a trail locally, it just makes me happy.
So what do you think drives you and motivates you to continue on? It just seems like, you've got 2022 planned, you've got 2023 planned, and most people don't even know what they're doing tomorrow. So what is that motivation factor, you think? Or can you define it?
Well, I'm definitely a planner, so I love to plan, but I'm best being outside and being active. I mean, that's where I feel the most at peace, and that's what gives a lot of back to me, makes me feel who I am. So to be stuck inside, that's why I love my jobs were outdoor jobs. I mean, I loved what I did. And I think it's a passion, and it's innate in me, I think, because it's always been there, that passion to be outside. It's hard.
Even with 20% of your lungs gone and your toes fused together.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, I say it like that. I mean, it almost sounds unreal. So I want everybody listening to this, unless your toes are fused together and you're missing some of your lungs, we all have no excuses because Deb's still doing it even with all that. So tell us, or actually tell the listeners, there's people out there that people reach out to me. They send me emails and they say, oh, I hope I can section hike, when I get a new job, or I move closer to the mountains, or, there's all these things that people are hoping to do something. What is it inside you that says, well, no, I'm not hoping to do anything. I'm going to do it now. Motivate people, Deb. Well, not that they're not motivated already after listening to this.
Well, the first thing I think you have to think about, tomorrow is not guaranteed. I mean, when I got that prognosis, it was like, thank God I have done what I have done my whole life. I mean, I have been blessed with wonderful opportunities my whole life, and I always leapt at them. And what has always been my priority is not working to live, but, I want to be out there and enjoying every minute. My kids are a priority. My grandkids are a priority. And I just make sure that I live each day to the fullest. And if section hiking means I'm going slow up that mountain, then I'm going to go slow up that mountain. I'm going to get there no matter what, because, hey, that's what life's about. And it's been wonderful.
Well, where can we find you and follow you? Because the listeners are going to want to follow you. I guarantee it, on social media, and keep up with everything you've got going on.
Okay, great. Well, I do mostly Instagram right now. I will be doing some YouTube stuff also once I'm back home. I don't like taking all my time up on trail on videos. Editing and doing all that, because I want to really be present at what I'm doing. So that'll be when I get back home. I'm also on trail journals. So I've been on that since 2009 when I first started hiking. So those are the 3 areas you'll see me the most.
Excellent. Oh, I do have your trail journals. So I have your trail journals. I'm looking at the show notes right now to make sure I have everything. So I've got your Instagram, I've got your trail journals, and I need to add your YouTube. So
Okay.
we'll talk about that once we wrap up here. So, gosh, Deb, I'm pumped for you.
Oh, it's been
I'm
great talking to
excited.
you.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in October. And all I'm going to say is happy trails.
thank you.
And I already know you're going to do it. I'm not going to say good luck or anything like that. You're there.
Oh, I'll do it.
So tomorrow, what is today? Today's May 24th or 25th. And tomorrow you're starting, where are you starting? You told me,
Yeah,
but I forgot it.
Bennington.
You're in Bennington,
Yeah.
but you're,
Yep.
okay, so you're starting in Bennington and you're going north?
Yes.
There you go, everybody.
Yep.
Deb is on trail tomorrow, but by the time you guys hear this, she'll be done with that little leg of her trip and on to something else, I am sure
Yep.
of it. So, all right, Deb, really appreciate you coming on, and I'll see you in October.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, as you all heard, I'm pretty sure none of us have any excuses for not getting out on the trails we want to complete. Make a plan, follow through with that plan, and don't stop until your goal is met. Thanks so much, Deb, for coming on the podcast, and I really look forward to meeting you in person this October at the ALDA conference. Next week, you will be introduced to a fellow section hiker that goes by the trail name Lucky Dog. Tune in next week to find out how he got his trail name by losing his cell phone on the trail. Just a quick reminder to check out Deb's guest bio that will be directly linked to this episode on the Jester Section Hiker page, which can be found by going to hikingradionetwork.com. You can also help support in the production of this podcast and all of our shows produced by the Hiking Radio Network by leaving us a donation while you're over there as well. You will see that donate button as you are looking at today's show notes, pictures, and Deb's bio. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be safe out there, and happy section hiking.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. You're wondering if I go wandering with you, what kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into. Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. I'm wondering if you'd come wandering my way, if you ever get lost or if the trail leads you astray. The music of the pack can always bring you back. I wonder, can we wander away? And I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. Round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets in these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.